Hello and welcome to Junior Achievement's Virtual Speaker Series. Today, our special guest is Veronique Conus, and Veronique's title is Director Influencer Marketing with Jazzwares. Veronique, thank you for joining us today.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're very happy to have you. And I know I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to help our students in high school, but my first question is, I know you were a history major, and you're now an influencer marketing.
Yes.
So how and why did you decide to enter this career of marketing?
So that's such a great question. And you're right. I was a history major, and I was in school studying history. And as a lover of history, one of the histories that I wanted to study was the history of advertising. So if you've ever watched Mad Men and you go back to the time period of great advertising in a medium where you had visuals and audios, like that's what I wanted to study. So I took an internship at a local tech company who specialized in digital marketing, and which was very new at the time. I don't want to age myself, but it was barely in the 2000s. And while I was there, the digital marketing company got into social media marketing little by little. I'm talking like MySpace days. And it kind of fell into my lap. And as social media evolved, my role evolved, the industry evolved. And now, of course, it's a $1 billion industry. And I have been in it now since the beginning. So going on 16 years.
Wow. Now, you said you went into it through internships. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Most colleges or programs offer some portal that you can go and look for internships. Internships are invaluable. They give you real world experience. They put you directly into an industry in a way that you can see various parts of how that industry works. And it is very eye-opening for somebody to be in there and be able to test and try their skill sets out and decide, I thought I really wanted to do this, but this piece is not for me. So I'm going to try this other thing. And using an internship to network, to get to know people, also adds tremendous value to your future career path, because you never know who's going to be in what position in the next 2, 5, even 10 years.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. So could you tell us a little bit about what you do and what a normal day looks like? Because I know it's really interesting. Our students are going to love hearing about this.
Yes, ma'am. And your students are very familiar. If you've ever seen any social media content on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube that has hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored, and you ask yourself, who's the person that does that? Who's the middle connection between the brand and this influencer? It's me. That's what I do. My job is to find the right influencers to be a part of our advertising programs for the toys that our company Jazzwares makes. And it's very simple. It's 3 basic phases. The pre-launch phase, which is finding the right people, and the way we measure that is depending on the campaign goals. Are we looking for someone with a lot of reach? Are we looking for someone with a lot of engagement numbers? So the pre-launch, trying to find the right people. Do they have kids in the right age range that we're looking? Do they have parents in the right age ranges that we're looking to talk to? Do their audiences have an affinity for shopping at specific retailers? That's the type of data that we look for to decide who is the right influencer for this particular toy or brand or seasonal campaign. The second part is the actual launch. How do they get those products? It's a lot of logistics. It's organizing shipments all over the world. It's being able to align those shipments to specific marketing days or shopping days or deadlines that we have on our side. So for example, if a toy goes on shelf on the 1st of the month, then I need to have my toys in that influencer's hands 3 to 4 weeks beforehand, because they need, a week for it to get there, a week for them to do content, and then another week for us to review it, make sure it meets all of the talking points and all the requirements, and then goes live in enough time that people that are watching the video can say, oh, that's really cool, and I'm going to go to Target and get it, or wherever the store is. So there's a lot of logistics. And then the last part is data collection, is being able to look at that content and look at all of the domino effect of that content and say, okay, was this a good move for us? Was this person a good choice? Was the program a good choice? Was the video content well done? And decide whether or not we're going to redo that path, right? So there's 3 main parts, but that is basically what a normal day looks like, is hopping in and out of those 3 pieces across every brand that Jazzwares has under its umbrella.
And I know our students, from what you said, you deal with products worldwide and influencers worldwide, correct? And they also they get paid for this.
They do. They do. There are various levels. So in the United States, there is a governing board that helps provide guidance on how advertising should be done in the United States, and that's the FTC. So there are paid initiatives for which we have to adhere to FTC guidelines in terms of disclosure, what they say, how they say it. There are COPPA compliance guidelines. This is all homework for you guys to look up. CARU guidelines, CARU. COPPA is COPPA, in terms of how we promote and target children and their parents. There are very specific ways to do that. There are also unpaid marketing initiatives. So there are a lot of times that people just get toys for free with no expectations. And if they post about it, great. If they don't, great. But it's all about getting our toys in the hands of influencers that can help tell the story of this toy and the benefit that it brings to children in that age range, or collectors in an older age range.
So if our students were thinking about this career, how would they get started if they're in high school now? What would you suggest they do?
That's a really great question. The first thing is I would look at what their goals are. So if the goal is, I want to make a lot of money, put that away for now. The second thing is I would look at their passions. The most successful social channels that I've seen are directly tied to a person's passion, because the more you like doing something, the more you want to learn about it, which means the more you'll know about it, which means the more you'll enjoy producing content. So think of something that you have to do that takes 6 hours just to get the first draft done, and then multiply that by 10, by 20, by 30. That's what it takes to do one video, for example. So unless you really enjoy what you're talking about, you're not going to want to put in those hours, and your content won't be great, which means people won't watch it, which means you're not likely to get a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, a lot of likes, a lot of the data points that we look at when we're looking to hire or partner with a creator or an influencer in the social space. So the first thing I would do is make sure they're doing it for reasons that bring them joy. And then secondly, that they pick a topic that also helps give them that momentum and that happiness when they're doing their content, so that they continue to be happy doing it, and so that it performs well, and everything else will follow. I promise.
Great advice. Thank you. And if we had someone listen to this who says, I love what Veronique does, how do I get her job?
You can email me directly. No, it's how you would get this job. So that's a great question, because honestly, this space evolves so much that 10 years ago, this job didn't exist. I slowly fell into this evolving kind of role. In 10 years, I don't even know if this job will exist. So my advice would be, number one, to have a general understanding of marketing. What does it take to get people to buy things? And that is across many levels. There's psychological marketing, there's just consumer insights. There are all kinds of studies and all kinds of classes you can take to understand marketing in general. Second, I would look into keeping up with technology. You definitely want to be the person in the room that when somebody presents a problem, your hand is up. Oh, I know a company that solves for that. Oh, I know a service that can do that. You want to keep up with the trends on that side, with the technological advances, the companies that are pushing those technologies forward. And last, And I hate to say it because I'm such an introvert, but you got to network. You have to meet enough people and build enough of a web that when you need something, you know who to go to. Oh, I know Claire does that, or Claire has a connection here, and I'm going to introduce her to the team because she's going to be able to explain to us how this works. And that's super important because on my side, it's not just shipping out packages and hoping that content goes live. I have to be very well versed with the legalities of content, content guidelines, not only in the US, but in the UK and other parts of the world. I have to be familiar with Department of Labor legalities, working with children. There are a lot of things that we have to be on top of to make sure that we are knowledgeable in this role. So if you're looking at this role, at this career path, at my job, and you say, oh, I really want to do that, my advice would be definitely get a background in marketing, definitely stay up to date with the technological advances, and network. Get to know people that are also in the field.
Well, Veronique, this is great advice. Thank you so much. I'm sure our students will get so much out of this. Thank you very much for joining us.
I hope so. You're so welcome.